And here's our next roof, tabletop roof. Loads of Veluxes, lots of hips. Nice bit of detail. Dormer here at the back end, looking forward to it. Okay, this is our next project. I'm finally looking forward to this one. It's a really nice roof. Going to be good, going to be interesting. And first thing I did was, when I got here, was work out all the way through the job and all the way back, because I want to know how the fascia soffit is. We've got pole plates here, so 2 timbers is going to go all the way around. So I'll put this on a joist what was already here, and what we did is we worked out the position of that so we get the joist in to sit on the pole plate. I wanted to know if the building's parallel and how it works with regards to the fascia soffit. So basically, the bigger the soffit, the smaller the fascia is. The bigger the fascia, the smaller the soffit. And I had to play it, make it look in proportion. How does it work with the window? Is there enough on the fascia for the guttering to come round? And the first day was literally timbers and the steels and get the pole plates on. Right, I've got a crank steel going in here, and what I've done is I've made a pattern so we can visualise exactly how it's going to work, and everybody's on the same page. We can talk to the roofer, does the design work, what does he need to do, etc. So we've got 72s, we've got steel coming up, ventilation at the bottom, ventilation at the top. Steel with a crank steel, the ply and the joist, and how the furring piece is and how it all ties in. And it's going to be like a hip flat roof, so it works the same consistently all the way around. But working this out like this, we've got air underneath, air at the top, works on furrings, it's a cold deck roof, all works well. With the steels, there's 3 things you need to know. The pitch to put them in, the height and the width, and you've got to have 2. So let's just say you've got height and width for steel, and the pitch is what it is. Or you can have the pitch up, and as long as you know the height, you can use a rod and adjust it until it hits the place where you want the rafter. That would give you width. Or you can have the pitch up, and if you've got the width size, then you can level up. But it's 3 factors, and as long as you've got 2 of them, you can work these steels out. And I've worked the plates out, square, corner to corner, so I'm hoping the steel's in the exact same position, that we can start getting some rafters in various points, and that'd be a pattern all the way around the roof. And once we've got that, straightforward. So what the lads done is they got their laser level out and they checked the steels in each corner. So first of all, they put a joist from one side to the other side, make sure it's level. Done the same the other side, but checked all the way around, double checked. Put 2 timbers up, plonked the joists on, just leave them 2 mil shorter. Now they can fix straight in, 250 centres. There was a lot of joists to pick up these plates. Now you can have the plate in the correct place, which works for the fascia soffit, but does it change the pitch for the steels? Or do you keep it the same pitch and it affects the fascia soffit? So we've tried splitting the difference to try and work out what the knock-on effect would be later on down the line. But as it happens, this is pretty good, minor adjustments, and so far, it's all working to plan. And Velux openings. I've got hangers to go at the top, so I've just put them up temporary so I can work out what's what and we can cut everything, fill it all in one hit. So we know the wall's going across here. We put the double joist in 10 mil further, so when the wall goes in, the plasterboard goes across past the steel. So leveled up, got our mark, worked out the ceilings leveled through, scaled the Velux size, and I've divided it so it's equal. So now what we've done is I can use a level of the joists, level up to our mark, and I can do that on every opening. But if I mark it on here, and I use 2 off-cuts and timber back, square everything, I've got my measurement for the top rafter, I know the opening size, I've got the rafter size, I make the whole pattern up, and then we can attack it all in one hit. Well, we're 6 days in, and this has been such an enjoyable roof. So much going on. Have a little tidy up. Come on, Dave, duck under there. Do the limbo. Beautiful. Love it. All right, got a little hip coming into the ridge. There's 3 ways that you can do this. But let's start with the basics. So I've got a dummy rafter in up top there, and I've run a timber through the top. Done the same the other side, so I know where that point is. I've put my line through the roof, and I've moved the line across it touches the ridge and the rafters. Double, triple checked everything. And these are my points. So I'll set these across and I'll measure in between, and then I can cut that. Now I see a lot of people run the rafters up to the ridge, and then from the ridge up to the hip. I don't agree with that, it's a weak point. So there's two ways I like doing it. Get my rafter in down here, cut through the ridge, and the hip will hit the rafter. I'm going to do it slightly different this time. I'm going to run my rafter up into the hip, and this gets tied in by the ridge, and everything gets tied in nice. All right, getting the hips in. Got a big dormer here, so we haven't really got anything to go off of. It's not like you've got your standard two rafters and a point to go. Because it's a crank top square, what we do is we cut a couple of dummy rafters and we'll put them on up the top. We've got one side infilled and we'll put a straight edge through, 2 pieces of timber and fix it. Then we'll just cut a small bit of offcut, anything really, anything tiny, hold it up there and make sure that's touching both sections of the roof so it's all in line. Cut a bottom, and then what we do is measure between the two and have our hip, so we're not going to take any chances. But what I do is I'll make it 3mm bigger, just in case. Let's say it's 3mm bigger and it's 1.5 mm high there and 1.5 mm the bird's mouth. Not a big deal. But if the angle's wrong, I've got the opportunity to play around with it slightly. It shouldn't be, it should be 45. But if I do 3mm bigger, it's better. Once I've got that in position and I'm all happy with it, I will put a level on the side and see what it's like. Then I'll put a timber down and fix it to the bottom somehow to try and take that twist out. And my first jack rafter, I always start with the smallest one because you don't notice so much of the big ones, but when you get to the small ones, they could be out by the time you get to the bottom. So get the first one spot on and the rest just flows easy. Hips. It's not like we've got 2 points to go to, so I've got to find that point. So we've got a straight edge through here. We can put a piece of timber on that roof. I can get a couple of little dummy rafters to fix up here, put the straight edge. As long as I've got 2 bits of timber, then what I can do is get an off-cut of timber, cut it, hold it up in place, fix it, do one at the bottom, a little off-cut, and then I measure between the two. And when I'm happy with it, I put a level on the side, make sure there's no twist, and if there is a little bit of a twist, I put a timber down to the floor and fix it, and I want that right. I'll check the eye through, and I always start off with the small jack rafters because they're the ones that you'll notice when they're out. And as I work my way up, I'll just keep an eye on it. Well, in fact, what I do actually is I'll do the bigger ones. If you do happen to cut it wrong, you can use it for the next one forward. But I like the first two to be at the bottom because you can see they're all spot on. Have a look up the top and have a look at this. And the cut's at the bottom. Okay, hips, jack rafters. If I haven't got 2 rafters to get my hip in, I've got one side in that I can put some timbers on. The other side's dormer, so I'll cut a couple of little offcuts. And I'll hold 2 timbers, just so I know where it's going. And I'll cut a little offcut, get one at the top, do one at the bottom. I know what my hips is going to be because I know the pitch of the rafter. I'll measure between the two. I'll do that once, get it in. 3mm bigger. I've got a little bit of play just in case it's slightly out. And I start from the top down. And then what I do is every time I've got a big one cut, the off cut will do the other side at the bottom and vice versa. But what I do like to get in, which I advise is, get 2 close to the bottom just to stabilise it. And as you come lower, you can tell if it's running out. So get 2 at the bottom done and away you go. Put a piece of timber aside, take the twist out, level, screw it to the bottom of the joist, away you go.
in the face of the mirages. In the midst of the pain, disdain, and the media's push of all this garbage. I pray that you keep your faith as a whole embrace and the real get disregarded. It's about time that we take it back. The waste you break for the camel's back. Strong men made like an easy task, and now the weak men feminize and react. In the church, in the workplace, every class, on the television screen, in the state of rap. All virtues gone in the state of black. We in hell on earth and it's gonna collapse. Integrity's lost, and we incentivize gods, and the winning revolution will be televised. Gone too far, don't know if we can rectify it. Those gates will testify. So I'm saying it now, so they counteract clockwise. We are living in times where the wicked is all right. The intelligent fall, while the stupid is all drive, and the real get pushed aside. Yeah, I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. Our God is an awesome artist. In perilous times we seek his grace as the world, and the times we face turn fake in the face of the devil mirages. In the midst of the pain, disdain, and the media's push of all this garbage. I pray that you keep your faith as a whole breaks and the real get disregarded. It's about time that we take it back. The waste too great for the camel's back. Strong men made like an easy task, and now the weak men feminize and react. In the church, in the workplace, every class, on the television screen.
Alright, doing the dormers. If we've got a part of that build where you can't get to the Celotex after, we'll insert it before we put the ply. That way there's no cold spots. Instead of putting like 4 rafters down there to pick up the batten, we just use whatever offcuts to try and save on timber and use up some of the waste. And what we do is when we're cutting that ply, we lift it up 28mm, scribe it to the level like Charlie says, and that way the tiler can just run his battens in, and when he's fixing it up, there's less likelihood of him splitting it in the battens. And we do router it, so we're going to do the front now, router it out so it's nice and flush. Lovely job. Okay, furring pieces. Why have we done it like this? Well, in my personal opinion, this is the best way to do it. I've seen it where they have the furring pieces go one direction, and not only do you get all the water one side into the gutter, but you also doesn't look good cosmetically. You see a triangle. So doing it like this, I've done it like a hip. So half my span out, and then what I've done is the furrings with a nice fall. So whatever you do on this roof, whether it's lead, tin, GRP, it's consistent all the way around. It's got a nice flow, and the water will go to each side of the roof and into each section of the gutter. It's good, got good airflow as well, so it's a good way of doing it.
It's come out, it's all fat.
Right, so my original idea was lay a sheet on and cut it on the hips or wherever necessary. What Hi-Res and Charlie have done is run a 600 border all the way round. That way they can get 2 rips out of a sheet. And then with the triangle section, once you've done one side, it'll go over the other side. Nice and neat, nice falls. Can't even get a Rizzler in it.
Best of everything.